Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome. It's a commitment special here on Orange Bloods Live. I'm Jeff Ketchum. That's Jason Sukamel. We're sitting in because the Longhorns just pick up the running back difference maker that they've coveted in this recruiting class that clearly they desperately want in putting together the pieces of a 2026 recruiting class. Derrek Cooper out of Hollywood, Florida, commits to the Longhorns on Sunday night. He's their 21st commitment, ranked number 37 overall nationally in the Rivals industry rankings. The overall rankings across the grid are kind of all over the place. ESPN has him at number 7 overall nationally. 24/7 has him at 40. Rivals inexplicably dropped him to 123 in the most recent update. Jason, I got to be honest. I think 24/7's got the best ranking on him at number 40 overall nationally. For me, that feels about right. He's 6'1", 205, 10.77, 100-meter speed as a junior in high school. There's so much to like about this guy.
Yeah, it's funny. Rivals dropped him to number 123 nationally. He just won the MVP, running back MVP at the Rivals 5-star camp. So, different people doing the rankings now, I guess. But what could he have done differently? I don't know. But, I saw him in person. I've seen him in person a couple times. I've talked to him. You look at his film. We've got it on Orange Bloods in our commitment story. I mean, he's got prototypical size. You mentioned the 10.77 speed, and he gets to top speed quickly, Catch. I mean, he's a guy, we've heard Chad Scott wants home run hitters. Well, that's what this guy is. I mean, you're not going to catch him from behind, maybe a cornerback or something at the collegiate level, but he's got game-breaking speed that can score legitimately 60, 70, 80 yards. He gets behind the defense. I mean, he's got a good chance of taking it to the house at the next level. Texas needed a running back commitment. They needed any running back commitment, if we're being honest. But, they're big game hunting. KJ Edwards didn't work out.
I think they only needed a big dog if they were going to get one because everybody's scheduled to come back. So it's not. And
I think they understood that too. And Derrek Cooper is good enough. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but he could be a guy that, as a true freshman, is your top runner by the end of the season. He's that talented. And that's no disrespect to the guys on campus, but they did. They went big game hunting catch. You've been reporting it. They want early impact guys, and I think that's exactly what they got in Derrek Cooper with his speed, his athleticism. He's got good vision. I mean, he hits the hole quickly. And like I said, when he gets that second level, certainly at the high school level, and I think at the college level, you're not going to catch him from behind.
So before we get into what I think is the really interesting, look, Texas got another badass recruit. Shocker, surprise. They're up to number 21. They're up to number 4 in the Rivals rankings. They're up to number 5 in the 24/7 team rankings. A little bit of perspective on this because I think sometimes we get so caught up in the weeds of a recruiting class that we lose sight of what it is that we're talking about. So how good is Derrek Cooper? Well, in the history of the Rivals rankings, he's as things currently stand, he's the 5th highest running back in the history of the Rivals rankings. Last quarter century, he would be the 5th highest running back behind Jonathan Gray, Malcolm Brown, Bijan Robinson, Cedric Baxter, and then one spot right behind him if you use the Rivals industry rankings. I haven't quite figured out what the hell we're going to do with Rivals having industry rankings, and now they use their industry rankings and whenever they promote a kid's commitment, so I'm not quite sure what to do. Regardless, that's the kind of territory that we're talking about. He's the 2nd highest rated or the 3rd highest rated recruit at the position that the Longhorns have signed in the last 13 years. It's easy to think that just Texas does this every year. They haven't been. After they got Malcolm Brown and Jonathan Gray in back-to-back years in 2011 and 2012, they went almost a decade without getting another super blue chip running back. They end up getting Bijan in 2020. They get CJ Baxter in 2023. And now they've added another one. But think about it like this, too. Diabell is the 3rd highest rated quarterback in the Rivals era, Texas commitment. John Turntine, 3rd highest rated, the 7th highest rated offensive line commitment. James Johnson is the highest rated defensive tackle commitment.
That's Richard crazy. Yeah, that one's still surprising to me.
That is crazy. Richard Wesley is the 5th highest rated defensive end commitment in the last 5 years.
I still say Wesley might be underranked. So.
And Tyler Atkinson's the 6th highest linebacker.
That one surprised me in your column. Like, I try to think, what 5 linebackers are rated higher than Tyler Atkinson?
Well, you want me to run them all?
You've got him in front of you. I'd be curious. Yeah.
Okay, so it was Jordan Hicks.
Okay, that makes
Malik
sense.
Jefferson.
Tyler Atkinson's a better player than Malik Jefferson, but okay, yeah.
Oh man, I want to say it's, who am I forgetting? Keenan Robinson, maybe.
I mean, God.
I looked it up. I swear to God, it's legit.
I'm not doubting you. That one surprised me. Like, he's a 5-star across the board, pretty much. I'm like, who? I can't think of 5 guys, or I couldn't think of a couple guys who are rated higher than him. But
well, I will look it up. I want to talk about, though, the fact that a month ago, Derrek Cooper wasn't on the radar. I had a source reach out to me a couple of weeks ago. We were chatting, and he told me, like, they were stung by the Xavier Crowell decision. I was a little surprised by it. He was like, I thought we had Crowell, and I thought, okay, interesting, very interesting, but didn't make a huge deal out of it. It was kind of one of all the guys they've missed, Crowell seemed to be the one that, not Ojo, not Carlton, not anybody else, he was the guy that was mentioned by a source of mine as we thought we were going to get that guy, along with James Johnson, for the record. They really were surprised that they weren't surprised, but they thought they had Johnson. Then Georgia swooped in, and then they were like, what the hell? They thought they could get him to flip. They did. But of the recruiting losses that we've really talked about, the ones that people have talked about, Cooper ends up being the replacement for the one that stung them. They weren't really in on Cooper, like, really, a month ago. Steve Sarkisian wants an impact running back. And by God, they went and got one. And, like, we need to have a conversation about the fact that in 2026, maybe you don't have to take an official visit to commit to a school. Maybe a lot of things can add up to get to a place where a guy flips, but NIL/revenue share will have played a part. There's a lot of things that add up, but it's amazing to me that you couldn't really have predicted this a month ago when you saw him in Indianapolis.
No, and I thought it was interesting at his commitment ceremony. He was asked, like, when did you know? And he goes, oh, it kind of, when I took that unofficial visit in April. I'm like, no, come on. So, I talked to him in late June.
That's the most BS thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, so, I talked to him in late June in person, and I basically went up to him at the Rivals 5-star in Indianapolis. And I said, hey, Derrek, Jason with Orange Bloods. I think I might have had this exact shirt on, in fact. And I said, hey, dude, like, I don't want to waste your time. Is Texas a school that you're even considering? Because he had just taken pictures holding 5 hats. None of them were a Texas hat. He had not taken a Texas official visit. I think he took 6 other official visits. And he's like, he goes, no, not really. And I said, so it's safe to say they're playing from behind? And he goes, oh, yeah, that's safe to say. But I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and interview you anyways, because it doesn't sound like it's completely dead. And he said, yeah, maybe I'll go see him in the fall. If this happened, that might keep him in the race. But I mean, they were kind of an afterthought, if we're being honest, in late June. And I don't think he was pulling a Felix Ojo where he was lying, about everything. I think genuinely Texas was from behind, but, this one kind of started surging. And listen, I mean, it worked out well for him that Texas came in really aggressively of late because the need was there, right? And what other options were left, Catch? You're going to try to go flip somebody, or he's out there uncommitted, and he might be as good as anybody they were recruiting. I think he is as good as anybody they were recruiting. So, you miss on Xavier Crowell. Okay, that stinks. You miss on KJ Edwards. Okay, that stinks. But you know what? It worked out for the best for Texas, because I think they got the best of the bunch, honestly, of the guys they were recruiting. And I saw a couple in the chat, like someone said, who does he compare to? And someone compared him to a faster, more athletic Roschon Johnson. I'm like, that's not a bad comparison at all. He has kind of a similar running style, kind of more of an upright runner, but he is definitely faster and more athletic. Listen, I'm not going to make this I am going to make this comparison. So you're going to laugh at me. He kind of has a running style similar, and I'm not saying he's going to be this.
If you say the guy that I said last week, I'm going to call you out.
I don't know who you said, but he has a style similar to Adrian Peterson.
That's what I said last week.
I must not have been on the video, but I don't think I was.
Because I said he's not that tall. But
yeah, he's not quite as tall. And Peterson, I remember covering Peterson even in high school. Like, holy shit, that guy's put together.
That's so funny that you said that.
Well, dude, I mean, I honestly did not know that you'd said that, but that's who his game. And I'm not, again, I want to preface it. I'm not predicting he's going to be Adrian Peterson,
right.
But he does have a similar skill set and a similar running style. So,
he's
we'll see.
not
Maybe
Peterson, but there's no wasted motion. Mm-hmm. He hits the hole and is beyond the second level into the third level. That's what reminds me of Peterson. It is quick and go. He's real versatile. He catches the ball. He's athletic. He's not as dynamic of an athlete as Adrian Peterson was. Adrian Peterson's a once-in-a-lifetime guy. We'll never see him again. Just like we'll wait on the next Vince Young. And there just will never be another one like him again. But there are Jason, I 1,000% agree with you. There are glimpses of that, which is why I think he's a national top 50 guy. And I can see why, whatever it costs Texas to go get Derrek Cooper, I can see why they did. It makes a lot of sense. It's even his floor as a running back seems high. He's very, in a way, he's like a little bit faster Michael Terry. If he played wide receiver, I would go, oh, he's like a little bit of a Michael Terry. He's got some of those skills.
He can play defense.
And I thought Michael Terry could play running back at the next level. So there's a little bit of that, but I think he's got a chance to be a big-time guy. Beep Quest says for $4.99 in the super chat, why did Cooper need to visit? He knows what money looks like. Hey, touche, Beep Quest, touche.
And the good thing with Texas, you still have your official visit. So you can bring him in for a game weekend. You can bring him in December.
7.
Yeah. Was it 7? Okay. I thought it was 6. But yeah, so you can still bring him in and, like, God forbid things get a little shaky with this commitment, or Georgia or Miami tries to make a run at him. You say, hey, we still have our official visit in our back pocket. So, for Texas, this one really sets up pretty well for them.
What else about this? Like the conversation of what's next is always, and by the way, Longhorn Football Edit says, what up, fellas? Excited to get Cooper. Longhorn Football Edit's nice to see you connect with me this week. I haven't forgotten about you. What happens next? There are not a lot of in-state guys that are waiting to make decisions. Nationally, it's hard to pinpoint the guy that's uncommitted that you would say, oh, yeah.
Are we down to Keave Brown, the tight end? Maybe committing to Texas. That's something like, I did my recruiting board on Thursday. I'm like, holy shit, there's like not much to put on this thing. I mean, everybody is committed somewhere. And this is new. I mean, we started having July commitments a couple years ago with the early signing day, but now it seems like damn near everybody is committing in July. And I think that's going to be the trend moving forward, Catch. So it might make for I wouldn't say an unexciting fall, because you're going to have flips and you're going to have guys taking other visits and showing up at game visits and things. But there is not a lot of meat left on the bone for Texas. I mean, again, I think they would obviously love to have a tight end. Is that Keave Brown, the kid out of California? Do they try to flip Caden Prothrow or somebody? We'll see. And I think there will be some guys emerge in the fall, kind of new targets, maybe under the radar targets. Some of it depends, like, you wrote in your 10 thoughts, what happens, do they start recruiting on 105 scholarship limit versus the 85? So a lot of moving parts that we don't know about, that we don't know the answers to, but it's just an interesting recruiting cycle that here we are with 21 commitments, and we're like, okay, who else is there to recruit at this point? So I don't know. It's a definitely uncharted territory for us.
Yeah. And I think I wrote about this in my 10 thoughts on the weekend. With this commitment, they are +8, I think. If you look at, in a world where there's 85 scholarships, they've taken 21. They only have 13 seniors. So, it's like, if they were going to 85, I think we would go, oh, yeah, no, they're kind of they may not take many more because I want to save numbers for the portal and stuff like that. I think we would look at it and go, well, they're 8 over and we know they're going to have double-digit attrition, but how much? And you wouldn't exactly know. They might go up to 105 though, and that means they could be, they could still have 12 to play with. So I think they'll use the portal there. I think they're actually right about where they need to be. Some of those guys, those numbers they're going to give to walk-ons. If they go up to 105, they may have as many as 20 guys leaving the portal. So they will have more room, but I don't know if Texas is going to take a lot more. There aren't a lot of just, the regular old 4-star guy gets about $250,000 right now in NIL from the Baylors and the Techs, and the TCUs, and those guys. That's a big win for those guys to get a Rivals 250 kind of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, those have been the kind of guys that Sark just can't say no to. I mean, he will stack those guys up and figure it out later. But now those guys cost money. Now, if a guy like that were committed to a Baylor or a TCU to get him to flip, it's going to take some NIL money. It would be unlikely that they would be able to go to those guys and go, well, look, we don't have anything for you now, but win a spot on the two deep, then the payday will come. Guys aren't going to turn money away. So I just wonder what the next 4 high school recruiting commitments would look like for the Longhorns. I think we can guess the positions that they'd like to have a guy, tight end, left tackle, linebacker, like those to
another receiver. They'd like another receiver, I think. Yeah.
Maybe like a badass safety if you could get one. I don't know. Like in a world where Texas just recruiting like they normally would, they just go collect guys, but those guys will cost money. They're at 4 in the Rivals team rankings, 5 and 24/7. I wonder if this is the peak. I wonder, we've got 4 or 5 months to go. We'll see flips. We know there will be flips. How much will Texas be involved in flip season this year remains to be seen. I continue to be told, and Sark made a point to reference this on Tuesday, Jason. Retention. At some point, the thing that they really have to think about as much as anything else is how do we keep all of the guys that are already on our roster? I keep being told that's about where the focus is going to go for at least a few months until they kind of figure out exactly the shape of the roster, who might go pro early, exactly if there's a real urgency of a need where they need to go. They'll watch these offensive linemen grow up a little bit, and maybe they'll decide, you know what, we do need to go get an offensive lineman. Whoever's out there, let's go drop a mill or whatever. But I think we're going to see them be patient. I would be really shocked if we see more flurry of activity the way that we've seen the last few weeks.
Yeah, I don't even know who that would be, so I don't think that'll happen. Now, you may see a scenario, we've heard this from multiple sources, where some of these NIL deals that other people are promising may fall through, or they may not be able to come through, so that could open up for some guys. As you were talking, I pulled up the Rivals team rankings, the industry team rankings. Texas is 4th, Notre Dame's 3rd. Did you see how close it is between 3 and 4?
No.
1/1000th of a point. Notre Dame is 92.484. Texas is 92.483.
One of the things that's helping Texas is that the new Rivals rankings / On3 is they take the top 17 commitments in a class.
Yeah.
And in the past, Rivals would take the top 20, and Texas would still have 2 special teams, essentially nobodies.
Yeah.
Kind of dragging their average down a little bit. It's interesting. The little tweak there is probably the difference between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and a couple of things else. Here, I want to throw this at you, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's assume Felix Ojo has signed his papers with Texas Tech, and that Texas just wouldn't go after Felix Ojo anyway. Is there an in-state guy non-Felix Ojo category that if Texas could spend if it took $1 million, okay, who would they flip? Who would they want so bad in state right now that could be committed or not committed anywhere? It just can't be Ojo. But who do we think they would spend $1 million on if they could?
Well, I mean, offensive line makes the most sense. But they're not going to spend $1 million on, Zayden Krempin, I don't think, or
and they didn't do that with Carlton and Jalen Lott. They did not.
Well,
they have not done that yet.
Lott would have been my choice, either him or Caden Finley, because I still think they could take another, if they think it's an elite receiver. So
I don't think they think Finley's elite like that.
No. I've heard. I think people inside the football rooms do.
Well, then he might be the guy then, because it's going to take.
That's the only one I can think of, because it's not going to be a quarterback. It's not going to be a running back now. There aren't really any offensive linemen that fit the bill. It's not going to be a defensive lineman or linebacker. I mean, I think you could justify it because it can be a receiver or a defensive back for you, or maybe Finley. I mean, those are kind of the only.
That might be it, though. That was kind of my point, is that when we talk about who might they add, when we start talking about flip season and stuff like that, it's not as easy as like, oh, well, we'll have a great season, right? The old idea of like Texas will kick ass and guys will be wanting. It's not as easy as just taking the guys that want to flip. Texas, again, there's the financial outlay. Texas will want to. I think two things. Jason's right. They will want to get value buys if they exist. So let's say the check bounces at Baylor for Jamarian Carlton, and that guy could suddenly be had for $250. I think suddenly you'd be able to, like, they'd figure something out. I think there are guys they would figure stuff out for, but it would have to be, I think, value shopping, because I do think I think it's gone unnoticed what Texas did in the spring portal and how they did it. Murad Watson, Jack injuries, and Emmanuel Mosley, those dudes were committed to Texas before they were in the portal. No, I'm letting you know, those dudes, they're the only guys in the spring portal, the only guys that literally put their names into the portal and then were committed and done before they could take visits or before anybody could even call them.
Mosley visited. I don't remember that Murad Watson, did he even visit before he committed? I don't think he did.
I think he committed. His coach was like, yeah, he told me how much they said they were going to pay him. And I was like, what are you doing here? Go.
Get out of here. Yeah.
So what I think is they started for the first, look, they didn't do that in December. In December, they really were like, oh, God, we got to pay guys when the season's over, and we don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on guys in the portal, although they offered Emmanuel Pregnon a bunch of money. But in general, they didn't offer him that much. In the end, Pregnon got offered money that was still below what guys ended up getting on the roster, less than what Colin Simmons, less than what I was told Anthony Hill got. So they went big on Pregnon, but they didn't offer him so much money that I think it would have impacted some other dudes on the roster. I think what I had always said is, man, if you're Texas, get the word out. Have somebody contact somebody and let them know. If you go into the portal, we would have an interest. Have your agent call our people if you would be interested. And I think they got the word to a couple of guys like Mosley and Watson. Those dudes, I think, took spots. I think Mosley is the receiver in this class. He's just on campus now, and I think they'll take someone in the portal that will be either the receiver in this class or receiver in next year's class. Sark's always going to take receivers in the portal, but I think they're going to do that in December. I think they will have a couple of guys lined up in the December portal that they will look at as, who can come in and start for us or potentially start for us next season. And I think what we didn't see last December that we will see this December is they'll be better prepared, I think, for the portal. I think they'll be better prepared for the portal inside of retention, the thing that scared them so much a year ago. I think they feel like they'll have a handle on, and I think they feel like they'll be best prepared for whatever the hell happens in December, Jason. I think they feel like they'll be as prepared for that as anybody. We'll see. It's an easy thing to say. There's reason to have confidence, though, in their confidence. And at least they have a plan. Like, I think they know what they're doing.
Do we even know that is that going to be the portal window? Or are they going to keep them the same as they did last year? Or
it would be shocking at this point. Yeah. There has to be a December portal. Is there a spring portal? It'd be too late to do it now. There would be chaos if you sprung a no December portal on guys before the start of the year. That would feel like a bamboozle. So my guess is there will absolutely be a December portal. Could there be a canceled spring portal? Maybe, but they better figure that out now so that guys in the fall going into the December portal, they're not going to do that. That would scare the crap out of guys. These schools have a better chance of holding on to guys if there's a spring portal. Then if there's not, guys are going to be like, I can't take any chances. This is my only time. You can tell me come back in the spring and try to win a job and see what happens. But if I can't transfer, then I'm not waiting. And I think they'll be terrified to do that. So I don't think there's solving the portal problem this season. I don't know what it is, but feels like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, either way. And there's a lawsuit and problems coming if they get too risky.
Who's the player? I don't want to say Wisconsin that transferred that didn't even enter the portal or something like that. Like,
there was the guy that did something with Miami or something.
Yeah, does it really even matter? And
it was after the portal.
Yeah, it's like,
and they were like, "Just kidding, we're not going to enforce that. You go ahead."
So who the hell knows what's going to happen? I mean, from months.
They literally, that kid said, "You close the portal."
Is that the one that? Which school just sued another for tampering? Was that?
No, I don't know what this one was. I have to go back and look.
There's so many damn things going on. I can't keep up.
But there was a guy that, like 2 days after the portal closed, just decided, I'm going into the portal. And the NCAA said, "Yeah, that's okay. Go for it." Think about what they used to keep guys from playing over.
I know. Yeah.
They would nitpick guys over such little things. And now it's like, you want to do something that's clearly against the bylaws that we've established? You crazy kid. Go ahead. Guys, we're going to break. It's Sunday night. Jason and I got some stuff to do with the Monday Overreaction Show coming tomorrow. Do us a solid. Like the video. Did I miss any? Let me just check. Did I miss any super chats? I don't think I did. Longhorn Football Edits was the last one. Guys, onward. I'll be back tomorrow for the Overreaction Monday show. We'll have the noon show as always with me and Chad. There's all kinds of stuff to get into. Get your butt on over to Orange Bloods, though. Wall-to-wall coverage on everything going on. My 10 thoughts from the weekend. Jason's got a commitment story up. I've got instant analysis. We've got everything you could possibly want, including the best message board in the world. I'm not even joking. It's that good. So go check it out. Jason and I are going to go watch a movie or something. So
not together.
There's nothing wrong with that if we were, but no, we're in different zip codes right now. For the two of us, you guys have a great rest of the night. We'll see you on Monday. Texas gets number 21, and it's a big one. Hit that thumbs up button to celebrate. Later.